friends, welcome to today's session of 1 year current affairs rapid revision series. In this, first of all, we are going to discuss 1st June, first June 2024 current affairs. In this, the first topic is from economy. The first topic is Nifty EV and New Age Automotive Index. NSE Indices Limited, it is a subsidiary of National Stock Exchange of India, has introduced electric vehicle EV index. EV index means named Nifty EV. So New Age Automation Index. Its inception aligns with India government push for EV manufacturing and investment attraction and Make in India initiative. You know what is Nifty EV? It is an index for electronic vehicle companies. EV vehicle companies. Like you know, other indices. Here you can see Nifty 50. It is a stock market index. It represents 50 company stocks in the stock market. If the company get profit, the index will grow up. If the company get loss, the index will come down. Means if the index will come down in a day, means all companies eaten a huge loss. Okay, if the index go up, means a company get profit. So the Nifty 50 is a national stock exchange index. It represents 50 companies. Like this, Sensex is also a stock exchange index. It represents 30 companies. Its full form is Stock Exchange Sensitive Index. Okay, in the same way like these indices, but these indices represents all companies. All companies they represent. Okay, but what is this index? Our index, EV vehicle companies only, it represents EV Nifty EV in place of Nifty 50. Nifty 50 considers 50 companies of all stocks. All stocks. But Nifty EV considers only EV vehicle companies given here. Okay, that is the difference. The base date of this index is April 2nd, 2018 and base value is 1000. Means suppose the base value comes down from 1000, the base value comes down, company gets loss. From 1000, if the index go up, means company gets profit. In news you might be heard of stock exchange has gone down, many companies eaten huge loss, many stocks and shares of those companies have no value. Like that things you might heard of. Means if the stock index comes down, the company share value will comes down. So automatically the company will eat a huge loss. If the index go up, company will get profit because its shares value increases. So that is the relation between a company and an index. In the same way for EV vehicle companies, the NSE Indices Limited, it is a subsidiary of National Stock Exchange, introduced a new index that is Nifty 50. Okay. And it is semi-annual reconstitution and quarterly rebalancing. Means this will be adjusted with inflation. This index will be adjusted with inflation. And it takes into consideration some companies will add up. Okay, some companies will be removed according to market condition. Some companies will be added to the index. Okay, some companies will be removed to the index based on means semi-annual reconstitution means the companies listed in the index will change, and quarterly rebalancing means with inflation the index will also change. Okay, to ensure accuracy and relevance. Means if the index is not updated, like for 1 year, then in old prices it is representing old companies. Then what is the use of the index? So frequently it is checked, and with inflation rates, okay, and with share profit and losses, companies will be added and removed from the index. The index tracks the performance of companies involved in the EV ecosystem and advanced automotive technologies. It comprises EV manufacturers, automotive technology developers, battery producers, and other relevants. Whatever the companies are, all related to EV vehicle only. Electronic vehicle manufacturers, okay, automotive technology developers, and battery producers. National Stock Exchange of India is in Mumbai. Okay, funded in 1992, leading stock exchange in India. NSE is under ownership of various financial institutions such as banks and insurance companies. Means NSE works with banks and insurance companies. Okay, and the next topic is SRO's for FinTech framework. First of all, before discussing this topic, you should know what is a FinTech. Okay, what is a FinTech? Means a FinTech is a company. FinTech is a company that do digital banking. Digital banking. Okay, like insurance, cryptocurrency, digital payments like Paytm, Phone Pay. We are doing nowadays Paytm, Phone Pay, GPay, etc. etc. All these transactions come under a FinTech. FinTech means it is a digital bank. Digi bank. So these digi banks won't have a regulation till now. Suppose if you take a money app, Easy Money, Call Money, you might heard of. Call Money app. It is also one type of digi banking only. What they will do, they will provide a loan to a consumer. Okay, suppose some X is there. To this person, they will provide loan. If he won't repay in time, they will harass. Because there are no regulations to this industry yet. For digi banking, there is no regulation. Anyone who is having like 5 to 10 lakh rupees in hand, they can easily open an app. In that, they can lend small amounts like 10k, 20k, up to 50k they can lend. And some more also they can lend. If they have more money in hand, like 50 lakh to 1 crore, then they will give more loan. Means more loan means they will harass the person. Harassment will also increase. Okay, that is the concept of digibank. So, to solve consumer grievances, to get rid of the harassment from digibanks, the SRO self-regulatory framework. Okay, SRO. SRO came into effect. Means these are guidelines, regulatory guidelines for fintech companies. Okay. So RBI has introduced a framework for recognizing self-regulatory organizations in the fintech sector. Means these self-regulatory organizations make rules and guidelines for these fintech companies. Means if this is a fintech company, okay, the rules or regulations are designed by SRO. This is the relation between these two. So what is this self-regulatory framework? Let us see now. Fintech entities provide technical solutions for delivering financial products, regulatory compliance in collaboration with traditional financial institutions. Means a fintech fintech in collaboration with RBI, traditional finance company, means traditional finance operator. With this, they provide technical solutions. Means technical solution means what? We discussed now: Paytm, Phone Pay, cryptocurrency, okay, insurance, like these services. Okay, they are in collaboration with RBI. Self-regulatory organization is an industry led by responsible for establishing and enforcing regulatory standards within this sector. Already I told you. Okay, so a self-regulatory organization is an organization. It give rules and guidelines so that how a fintech should operate. Okay, if it comes under the provisions, domiciled registered in India requirement SRO to be established and registered within India jurisdiction. An SRO should be established within India only. Okay, an SRO should be established within India only. There is no foreign company. Okay, non-profit applications for SRO must be established as operating for purpose other than profit making. Means they should be like, they should operate like non-profit organizations. Now, what is a non-profit organization? Suppose if you see a finance company, they will lend. Finance company, okay, they will lend to a consumer, then they will get interest. That is a profit for the company. But non-profit organization means the aim should be to serve people, not to earn profit. Okay. And operation guidelines, instructions and principles governing the function of SROFT, including objectives, responsibilities, oversights, mechanisms. Means the fintech company, objectives, responsibilities, everything should be given by SRO only. Okay, they should not have their own objectives. Means if they have the objective of profit making, they won't follow the guidelines of an SRO. That is the problem. Okay, so independent SRO should be independent of influence and should not set up entities overseas without prior approval of RBI. Means already I told you this first provision and fourth provision, fifth provision is same. The SRO should be established within India. If it is establishing outside India, then they should take the approval of RBI. And managing user harm. Okay, user harm means already I told you a finance or bank will go give loan to a user. Afterwards, if he do not pay the loan on time, the bank go on harassing them. So what will happen after some days? If he can't repay the loan, he will go into a stand decision. He has to sell his assets or he has to get suicide if he can't pay. If the loan sharks are always following him, always torturing him, then what he will do? He will do self-harm, like suicide things. So user harm, okay, must manage user harm. Means the fintech should not be like that ki after giving a loan they will harass the customer constantly. Okay, like the finally the customer will cry. Like that the SRO should not operate. Okay, members of SRO FT should have a fintech companies domiciled outside India as members. Means fintech company में कितना members होता है? They can be members of fintech companies outside India. Means it is within India. Fintech. This is fintech in abroad. Okay, a member can be member of both companies. He can be member of fintech in India. He can be member of fintech in abroad. That is the meaning of this statement. Tourism in India. Okay, हुनर से रोजगार स्कीम. Hunar Se Rozgar scheme. So this is a essay topic. You can think this is a so prospects of tourism in India. Hunar Se Rozgar scheme. Okay. You can take this as an essay topic. So what is this scheme? Hunar Se Rozgar. Like you might be head of skill development program. Skill development program of Government of India. In this, what will happen? Employment training will be given to low educated people. Okay. In the same way, this one also self-employment, employment in tourism sector. So employment to 10th dropouts. Those who failed 10th examination will get training in tourism. Okay, here it is there. Training for employment, especially in tourism sector. Despite its potential, the scheme faces bureaucratic hurdles and lack of widespread awareness. Means many people don't know what is this scheme. Okay, joining this scheme, what they can do. Because it has not reached the people, most of the people yet. So, the Ministry of Tourism, okay, provides a self-employment training to those people. It is a with budget of 30 crores to those people that are school dropouts, 10th fail candidates, to address skill gaps by offering market relevant training and fostering entrepreneurship among urban youth. Means the meaning of the statement is generally 10th dropout people don't have much experience in the tourism sector. So separate training they should be provided so that they will perform well. So the scheme was designed to 6 to 8 week free training program for individuals aged 18 to 20 years. So star hotels are mandated to train a minimum number of participants. Like a star hotel Taj is there. It should be mandated to train 50 people. The expenditure will be borne by Government of India. Okay. So, despite efforts to integrate another sector into mainstream employment through skill development, a significant employment gap persists. Means, despite many number of efforts by GOI, still many people are unemployed in India because of skill gap. Skill gap. What is skill gap means? Suppose if he wants to go into tourism sector, but he is in accounting background, then he can't operate in tourism. So that is a problem. But many people think how much is the capability of our tourism sector. So people will get trained to work in hotels. So let us discuss what is the caliber of our tourism sector in India. India ranks 39th on the World Economic Forum Travel and Tourism Development Index, contributing 7% to GDP. Okay, and cumulative FDI. Hotel and tourism industry received USD 17 billion FDI in April 2000 and 2023, 2% of total FDI. Means India ka FDI kitna hai? How much is India FDI, foreign direct investment? In this 2.57% means approx 3% comes from tourism sector. Our tourism sector is that much big and it contributes to 7% of our GDP, gross domestic product, and it contributes over 32 million jobs. Means 32 million means 3.2 crore people are employed in tourism sector nowadays, and 7% of total employment in 2021, expected 53 million jobs by 2029. So it will goes to, this is value in 2021, this will goes to 59 million, means 6 crores in 2029. That is the caliber of our tourism sector. So tourist arrivals, how many people? will come to India to visit. Around 10 lakh foreign tourist arrivals compared to 6 lakhs in previous years. Means every year 10 lakh people from around abroad will come to visit India. Projected USD 125 billion travel market by Indian airline market to double. Means if foreigners are coming to India, automatically airlines will get a profit. And 1.25 USD billion travel market by financial year 2027. Means Indian hotel market yet to reach USD 52 billion, means 520 crores. 520 crores market by 2027. That is the worth of our tourism industry. So what is the significance? First, it is a contributor of foreign exchange earnings. What is this? Whatever the foreigner coming to India, he is paying wherever he goes for tickets or travel or food. That is coming as a GDP. It is adding to our GDP as a foreign exchange earning. With landmarks like Taj Mahal attracting international visitors. Tourism generates positive spillover effects, stimulating growth in sectors like hospitality and transportation. Means automatically transportation, airlines and private travels will benefit. Okay, and promotes inclusive growth by creating economic opportunities in remote areas. Additionally, tourism fosters intellectual exchanges, serves as strategic diplomacy tool, exchanging bilateral relations and fostering peace. Means suppose we are friend to USA. Okay, so many USA citizens are coming to India for trip, and many Indians are going to USA for jobs. Then what will happen? Automatically USA and India will become friends after some days. So how many types of tourism is there? Adventure tourism. Adventure means like to go into a hilly area, trekking. All these comes under adventure tourism. And ecotourism means to see parks, Kodaikanal, Bangalore. Okay, biodiversity hotspots like सुंदरबंस आर देयर. वेस्ट बंगाल में सुंदरबंस, ये देखने के लिए बहुत लोग अब्राड का लोग भी इंडिया आ जाती है. तो like that. And film tourism means to see filmy industry areas like Mumbai, Hyderabad. Okay, film cities. Like we go to USA to see Disney World. Indians go to USA to see Disney World. In the same way, foreigners come to India to see film cities. So culinary tourism means food tourism. Like for food festivals, to Rajasthan people will come to eat many dishes. And Indian richness of Indian cuisine, providing visitors with immense culinary experiences, attracting food enthusiasts and cultural exchange. And rural and tribal tourism means to see craft items, clothes, designs, etc. People will come to see. And medical and wellness tourism means Ayurveda, yoga. India is home to all these. These Ayurveda, yoga is not there in abroad. So many people are to experience Ayurveda, yoga, meditation. There are many Swamijis in India available who will train every day meditation to people. So many foreigners will come to India to see the experience, how meditation will be, how they will get peace in India. So quality healthcare services, rejuvenation retreats. Okay, all these are types of tourism will go into our GDP. So, but what are the problems? What are the limitations with Indian tourism? Inadequate infrastructure means our infrastructure is not to the standard of if you compare Germany and USA. So our infrastructure is very less compared to these countries. So automatically a foreigner can't adjust in India. Either he has to stay in big hotel, okay, or he can't stay here. That is the problem. And unskilled human resource means one server is there in a hotel, he don't know how to speak English. Then automatically he can't serve a foreigner. So if language is not feasible, then they can't stay more days in India. So like this, unskilled employees due to an unskilled employees. The tourism sector face many problem. And quality of services. Suppose if you go to a hotel, the food is very unhygienic, the bed is very dirty. So if even the Indian can't adjust there, how can a foreigner adjust? So governance challenges means management challenges like flight delays, flight is soon. Then the foreigner might take an appointment sometime for Taj Mahal. After the ride is late, then he can't even attend the program. Like that, the things happen. So these are all the challenges we are facing with Indian tourism sector. Okay, and another big problem is safety. Safety and security in India means there are many thieves, dacoities everywhere. If foreigner comes to India, what happens to him? There is no guarantee. And multiplicity of taxes means if they are coming to India, they have to pay over flight ticket a tax and food, room, okay, and local taxi and everything GST he has to pay. Apart from inside GST and in foreign also he has to pay another taxes for travel. So this is multiplicity of taxes. If you compare, if you want to go on a trip, if you calculate the budget before, suppose if your budget is 50K, the expenses are coming 1 lakh, then you can't even go on the trip. In the same way, the foreigner also, when he is coming to India, he will calculate what are the expenses after the taxes. Then if it is out of budget, then automatically he cancels his trip. What will happen? It will become a loss to our GDP. So regulatory framework, there is no regulatory framework. Marketing and promotion, we don't have much promotion in India. Like every day some people don't give advertisement, come and see Taj Mahal, come and see Taj Mahal, like that. So anyone who knows the Taj Mahal by his friends or YouTube from any source, they have to visit India. That's all. Environment sustainability means there is lot of pollution in India. Even you can't, Indian people can't tolerate this weather problems or pollution. Then how can a foreigner adjust here? So seasonal imbalances, heavy rains. Suppose you see Chennai. Okay, Chennai. Many people go there to see Velur temple, Golden Temple. But what happened after going there? There will be floods and rains. They have to flow in the water. So what will happen automatically? Next time they won't plan any trip to India. So what is the government is doing? After all these problems, all these challenges India is facing, what the government is doing to promote our tourism sector? That is one scheme is Swadeshi Darshan scheme, and another is Prasad scheme, and third one is Paryatan Parv, Deko Apna Desh initiative, Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative. These are all schemes by government to promote tourism sector in India so that they can earn some revenue out of tourism initiatives. Okay, these are schemes. Now we will discuss in detail in another video. In daily current affairs, discussing doubts is very problematic. I will keep a separate session for doubts, or I will make a separate video over all the schemes. Not here. Already the topic is very big, so I am just passing on the thing now. So e-visa facility, the digital initiative for by GOI to promote tourism. So web-based e-ticketing, e-visa facility means you need not to go to office every time to go to get the visa. So it will be easy for you to get the visa. And web-based e-ticketing, Swachh Paryatan mobile app. Nowadays mobile apps are many people using. And for safety and security, police, okay, and security protocols. Improving connectivity and infrastructure. If you go anywhere, if you get 5G, you feel very secure. If you don't have network, okay, your mobile is not working, then you won't feel secure there. So everywhere connectivity is important. And tax reform means for foreigners, GST should be bit less. If we are paying, in Indians are paying for every service 18% GST. Foreigners, if it is allowed like 10%, he feel be bit less expensive. travel in India. And training programs means to the employees like our program is there na Pune Sale Rojgar. Like that, in the same way, many employment schemes are there. Enhancing online presence means YouTube videos. Many YouTube videos will come to promote tourism sector in India nowadays. So the conclusion is tourism is an important part of India's GDP and foreign exchange reserves. So GOI always takes, our government always takes many efforts to promote tourism sector in India. So the essay topic is over here. Now we are going to the so by this essay topic, the economy topics are also over for this day. Now we came to public health. Public health issues means all the topics related to health of a person. So first, successful pig liver transplant in cancer patient means pig to human liver transfer. Liver transplant operation done in China. Okay, this is known as xenotransplantation. Means organ transfer from a animal. Organ transfer from an animal to a human is known as xenotransplantation, which is transplantation of organs from animals into people. The pig liver that has been genetically modified in 10 specific ways to lower the risk of organ rejection. Means what happens, suppose a pig liver injected into a human, automatically his body will reject the part. He won't accept. But what happened, to solve this problem, they genetically modified the pig liver and designed to work well in human body as a possible. After the surgery, the transplanted liver started working properly and it given 200 milliliters of bile every day. Means after transplantation, the patient is safe. There is no rejection. Patient is safe and there is no rejection and the liver working properly. Liver work is good. Okay, there is no rejection. The patient is safe. Okay, liver function and blood clotting stable. Xenotransplantation is not only a new idea, but it become more popular recently. Similar gene-edited pig liver was transplanted into clinically dead patient in China. So this was the first step towards transplanting organs from animals to living people. US patient at the Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston also had a major surgery in which pig's kidney was transplanted into them. So these cutting edge treatments open up new ways to do organ transplants and might solve problems of. So what is the use of this xenotransplantation? Suppose from animal to we are giving a part to human. What is the benefit? Suppose a patient is very serious, he needs a liver or kidney urgently, but he is not getting the donor. Donor is not available. So in that case, from animal to human, we transfer organs, means we are making the human to live for some days. Okay, means where there is a shortage in organs, so gene modified animal parts would change the way many people are waiting for organ transplant or treated. Suppose heart transplant will be there. It is very difficult to get a donor. Okay, suppose a person die, from him the organ has to take and given to other person. But otherwise it is very difficult to, from a living person to take the heart is very difficult. In that case, animal can be used. That is the use of this. The transplants went well. The next topic is study reveals. Okay. Study reveals rapid evolution of Y chromosome in apes. Okay. This article is just in theory. This is only to prove human do not evaluate from monkeys. Every anthropology lesson says human first of all evaluated from monkeys or apes. But this article want to prove that this is false. False statement. This article tells only 20% of Y chromosome in humans and monkeys match. And X chromosome is very different. X chromosome not at all match to, means if a monkey is there, this is a human, this is a monkey. Okay. So X and Y chromosomes are very different from X and Y chromosomes of monkey. Only Y chromosome match 20%. And the comparison goes to from ape to ape also. Ape to ape comparison also goes in this article. 6 types of apes compared. Okay. In 6 types of apes, what was proved means X chromosome is always stable. Y chromosome degraded. Means it lost its genetic material. It's lost its genetic material. So whatever the apes that come in earlier days of evaluation of human race are different from nowadays monkeys. Initial apes are very different from nowadays apes. Okay. And one more thing here is apes try to follow palindrome pattern. Palindrome you might head in mathematics also. It will give same answer. From first to last digit, last to first digit, the answer is same. That type of numbers are called palindromes. In the same way, the Y chromosome follows palindrome method. Means from forward to backward to forward it follows, not to lose genetic material. But despite the Y chromosome in apes lost genetic material. That is the meaning of this article. World Health Assembly approves global organ transplant strategy. Why this global organ transplant strategy approved means organ transplantation is very difficult nowadays. Means suppose a patient is there, he is suffering from kidney failure. If on time kidney is not provided from the donor, what happen? This patient will die. So India is facing this situation only nowadays. India has lot of shortage in organ donation. Due to some sentiments also. Suppose one family member is died, other family members do not accept to give organ donation. That is a big problem, that type of sentiments culture in our society is hindering organ donation. So what happens worldwide, many people are dying every year because they don't get the organ on time. So to solve these issues, World Health Assembly given a new strategy. Means what are the guidelines? In the guidelines, every person must donate. Every person with consent must donate. And we should make the family members accept for it. Okay, these are the provisions in this thing. Okay, principles when it is increasing number of organ donations, so that of making World Donor Day. Means in this event, World Health Assembly means WHO is also celebrating World Donor Day. Okay, and it formed an expert committee. The strategy should be put into action. Means advise and figuring out the complicated parts of transplantation. And means suppose one organ transplanted, one organ like kidney, heart, anything transplanted from one person to other person. So what happens? It may not match. Sometimes the donor, after donor death, the receiver also dies. So these type of problems should be solved. Complications should be solved. And whatever persons they died, 100% they must give consent to organ donation. And international framework in this thing also happened, that is international framework for organ exchange, mutual benefit and solidarity. India is facing, already I told you, India is facing every year 2 lakh kidney replacements, but still there is 10% of shortage. So to solve all these issues, international framework for organs exchange and mutual benefit and solidarity is assured, and 77th World Health Assembly resolution on organ transplantation lay out complete plan for equal access to organ transplants. Okay, means every person should have access to organs. If your patient is very serious, he should get organ on time. Otherwise, he will die. So, organ donation must be made compulsory. Not like with consent. Some person after his death want to give the organs. Some person don't want to give. But it should be hindered. It should be become like a compulsory mandatory thing. Okay, coming to Nelson Mandela Award. Okay, World Health Organization given Nelson Mandela's Health Promotion Award to NIMHANS. Okay, NIMHANS is mental health organization in India. It's in Bangalore. It did important work that people, institutions, group around world have done to promote health. The award recognizes excellent accomplishments and new ideas that have been used to improve health standards and advocacy. NIMHANS is mental health organization. Okay, it has been served to many mental patients for their goodness. So that's why the Nelson Mandela Award has been given to NIMHANS Bangalore. Partner with organizations like World Health Organization for research and training. It houses largest psychiatric hospital in India, innovative courses and neurobiology and behavioral sciences. Means NIMHANS also provides students training. MBBS doctors will be there, those who are studying in the college to get trained in treating mental patients. Okay, the Central Council of Research Ayurvedic Sciences launched Pragati, Ayurgyan and Techno Innovation Fostering Collaboration Research in Ayurveda. Ayurveda research program is Pragati. Okay, in this Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy, everything included. It is under Ministry of Ayush. Okay, going to next concept, that is managed care organizations. These are nothing but, insurance company, insurance plus health. Means they provide insurance along with the health. Means suppose a person is suffering from some disease. So next time they tell him like COVID, he got COVID. Okay. They tell him, they guide him preventive measures. Next time in next phase, how he should be careful so that he should not get COVID. Along with, they will also provide insurance platform. See, here you can see managed care organizations play a vital role in India quest for universal health care, resembling practices in United States but are adapted to local needs. Okay, they provide healthcare providers employ various strategies to control costs while promoting quality health services. Challenges facing MCOs in India include targeting urban wealthier population, lack of standards, clinical protocols, high operational costs. Okay, however, opportunities lie in significant outpatient care market and potential government support through initiatives like Ayushman Bharat Mission. Escalating healthcare costs means they reduce health costs while promoting quality health care. So what happens nowadays, if we if we get a disease, we go to a private hospital. So what happens if you have to get a good care of your health, then you should pay high bills. So, but managed care organizations of government are MCOs of government are, they provide good care at low bills. Okay, that is the meaning of this. Ukraine, Sweden, that. Okay, we all know that Ukraine Russia war is going. Ukraine Russia war is going. So now Sweden, Norway is also joining Ukraine. Okay, the three countries collectively fight against Russia because Ukraine is fighting with Russia for safety of Sweden and Norway only. Okay, this statement was given by the Sweden president publicly that Ukraine is fighting with Russia for the safety of Sweden and Norway only. That's why these both countries will join Ukraine to fight against Russia. Okay, so in this fight they also help with weapons. They give weapons to Ukraine and money also, means aid, monetary aid to support in the war. Okay, so what are the weapons Ukraine is giving? ASC 890 surveillance planes. Okay, what is a surveillance planes? It is a plane. Okay, it is a plane that attacks enemies' drones. Suppose a drone is coming from Russia. A drone is coming from Russia and entering Ukraine's boundary. Then the surveillance plane will attack on the drone. Okay. Also missiles. 7 billion military and humanitarian aid. Means military personnel, army people plus money will also be given. Okay. But parallel to these security agreements, both Germany and the US have exchanged how they back Ukraine militarily. A big change is that both countries now agree with Ukraine using the long-range weapons they give to attack the targets in Russia. This policy change supports protection of Kharkiv, a key Ukrainian city close to Russian border, shows that Western countries are becoming more determined to help Ukraine fight Russian advances. Means here you can understand Germany plus USA also joined with Ukraine to fight over Russia. Okay? To save the province of Kharkiv. Kharkiv province or city in Ukraine. Okay? And next is UN Global Supply Chain Forum. UN Global Supply Chain Forum. What is the supply chain? First of all, supply chain means suppose we are transferring goods. We are transferring some goods from one place to other place. Like from Dubai to India. So what will happen? First of all, these goods reach Oman. From there they reach Gujarat, Kutch place of Gujarat. Then they will reach India. Directly they won't come to from Dubai to India. Means the from where the route is showing, the entire goods travel all this way from source to destination. So what happens if there is any issue? Suppose the goods are damaged. Goods damage happen, or there is no courier service in Oman. Suppose you are sending a courier from Hyderabad to Kolkata. Okay, in Mumbai there is no courier service. What happens? The package will come from Hyderabad to Mumbai. Okay, there it will be stopped. It won't reach Kolkata. In the same way, if there is no service in Oman that serve to India, what happens? The goods will stay here only. So this is called, this damage or non-availability. This is called supply chain disruption. So This is not a big problem. If you are sending a courier from Hyderabad to Kolkata and it reaches Mumbai and doesn't reach Kolkata, then it will come back to Hyderabad. So you will get the products back. Only the courier service charges will fail. But in international level, if supply chain disruption happen, what will happen? Trade disruption will happen. Suppose Dubai is sending some mobile phones to India. If they do not reach, what happen? This much trade loss will happen to both Dubai and India. The UN Global Supply Chain Forum objective is to stop these supply chain disruptions, to promote goods transfer, trade, goods transfer in world level without disruption. That is the objective of this world global chain, UN global chain supply forum. Okay. Now we will go to the next topic. Lunar time system. Lunar time system means moon should have a time. Actually, what happens? Earth's one day is just 24 hours. But moon one day is 28 Earth days, I think. Means 1 month. Moon's one day is 28 Earth days. Means 1 month on Earth. So those who travel to moon will get very bored to pass 1 day there. So if time is not there, what happens? Suppose we are sending Chandrayaan machine. Okay, it reached on the moon. I sent a Chandrayaan mission to moon. It reached. From there, when to come back? The mission don't know. Because there is no time in moon. That is very big problem. So our space experts' ambition is to set a time for moon. When people go back to the moon soon, and public-private groups want to explore the moon to work together. So what is the importance of lunar time? Setting up singular lunar time system necessary to deal with practical issues like growing number of planned lunar trips, coordinating things. Means when the Chandrayaan will come back, when the Earth also, Indians, ISRO people also can plan something, China, USA can plan something. When the mission reaches the Earth, then they can plan some other mission. But if they don't know when it reaches Earth, so how they can plan other issues? So a lot of investment is involved. That is a loss to them. Launches, landings, operations on ground could be too hard to handle without standard way to keep track of time. So, but to set a time for moon, there are many limitations. That is already I told you. Moon's day-night cycle lasts 30 Earth days. And coordinating international missions means different people plan different missions. US plan a mission this day, China plans a mission next week, India plans next month. So according to that also we have to set the time. And technical synchronization means technically it should, like on Earth what are the systems are there, like 5G is there on Earth. In moon also you should establish 5G, then only the coordination will be easy. Otherwise, if on Earth 5G is there, on moon 4G is there, then difference will come. So that type of other things also should be taken into account. Okay, practicalities of operations means we generally we count a Chandrayaan mission will reach moon in 3 days. We estimate like that. But what happened? It will reach in 3.5 days. So this measure result in different results. Means in time also, if you are estimating more or less, what happen? Result will go back. So data management, data between earth time and lunar time. So potential, what are the potential solutions to solve this problem? Is connect lunar time zone to ITC. UTC is there now. They manage the flights. What are the flights are traveling from one place to other place? They travel. They manage the flights in the same way. Lunar time coordinate should be coordinated to the UTC, and there should be a point of reference making custom time scale that fits the needs of lunar operations. Conditions of the world also being thought about. Okay, NASA and ESC are working together to improve the tools, Artemis missions to keep accurate time and stay in synchronization. Setting up standard lunar time will be important for getting around and talking to each other and doing scientific studies. Not only Artemis program important for its scientific and exploration goals, but it's also important because it is first step toward putting people on the moon permanently. Means if you set a good time in moon, then it is easy for them to land a human on the moon. Otherwise, it is very difficult. If human goes to moon, how they live there? That is a big issue here. Okay. And the next topic is Agniban. Agniban. Okay. So Agnikul Cosmos Private Limited launched world's first rocket Agniban SR2 with fully 3D printed engine from Sriharikota. Okay, Sriharikota से ये Agniban with 3D printed machine engine launch हो गया. It is a semi cryogenic engine. Okay, and it has in-house technologies and optimal functioning and two-stage designs capable of carrying payloads. Payload is from 30 kgs to 300 kgs payload and semi-cryogenic engine. What is semi-cryogenic engine? Liquid plus solid propellant will be there. Liquid plus solid propellant it will be having. Now we are going to discuss environment and ecology topics. So the first topic is Diodramous fish. Okay, it is a migratory fish species. Do not align with their core habitat. Means it would not stay at one place. It always migrates from one place to other place, but it can't stay at one place. So what are the places? One is salt water, one is fresh water. Means it always migrates from salt water to fresh water and fresh water to salt water. There are two types of diodramous fish. Okay, one type is anadromous. Diodramous में one type is anadromous. It always live in salt water but breed in fresh water. Salt water to fresh water. And second type of fish is catadromous. It is a reverse. Okay, it is the reverse. It live in fresh water, breed in salt water. So what happens? They transfer nutrients. Nutrients means our food or energy from one ecosystem 1 to ecosystem 2. That is salt water and fresh water. But these fishes are facing extinction nowadays. Extinction means loss of these fishes happening because of habitat destruction and migratory barriers like dams. Suppose a fish wants to go from one ecosystem to second ecosystem. Meanwhile, one dam is there. It can't pass through. So what happens? Due to lack of food and water, it dies here only. In this point only, it dies. It can't reach another ecosystem. And loss of habitat means like there is no rain for more days in one area. So what happens? Obviously all lakes, ponds will be soaked. So there is no water in the ecosystem, then automatically the fish will also die. That is the problem here. So coming to our next topic, that is marine protected area. Marine protected area means marine protected areas are designed for conserving marine resources, ecosystem services, cultural heritage, restrictions to achieve conservation goals. They also include regulated fishing, research and other activities. One example of marine protected area is a beach. Okay, beach. Beach we have to conserve just to save the species like fishes. Fishes in the water. And other species in surrounding area, and the pollution. From pollution also we should save the beach, otherwise it will spoil within some days. So at COP15 in 2022, nations are committed to protect 30% of the planet lands and oceans by 2030. But most of the marine protected areas are underfunded. Underfunded means, suppose I need 5 crore rupees, 5 crore rupees to protect a beach. But the government is giving me only 1 crore. So what happened? The beach authorities can't hire people like Safai Karmacharis. They can't hire people to clean this beach every day. So what happened? Eventually the pollution in the beach increases. The fishes, etc., marine things go on dying. That is the problem. So India, coming to the basic database of marine protected areas, India has notified 130 marine protected areas till now under Wildlife Protection Act 1972. It is coastal states, islands. In addition, 106 coastal and marine sites have been identified and prioritized. Important coastal and marine biodiversity areas to take care of. Okay. Means out of this 130, 106 are one out of 130, 106 are coastal areas. Okay, and marine sites has been identified and prioritized. They have given priority to save from under coastal and marine biodiversity areas to marine species conservation. They are waiting for marine habitat conservation and protect against global warming impacts. Means if the beach water resource is good on the planet, so what happen? Automatically global warming will comes down. If water resources is not good, heat will increase on the planet. So coming to the next topic, that is monsoon crops bioblips. Monsoon crops bioblips. It is a app. It is a app we install in our mobile phone. Okay, it will be having list of frogs available in our area. Means it will raise awareness about frog biodiversity and habitat conservation with observations contributing to global biodiversity information facility database. Means these list of the frogs database taken from Global Biodiversity Information Facility database. The initiative follows successful 2023 addition emphasizing citizen engagement. Means the purpose of this initiative is citizens people engagement in conserving the frogs. Frog. What is a frog? It is very crucial. It is having very crucial role in the ecosystem as the indicators of environment health and contributors to biodiversity. Why frog is important in an ecosystem? It eats insects. Suppose an insect is there. It eats, a frog is there. It eats all insects, cockroaches. Okay, ants. Mosquitoes in our area. So what happens? Automatically our area will go into a clean place without malaria, etc. things. Frog population face threats from altered rainfall, climate change, habitat loss. Habitat loss means again water loss. If water is not there, frog can't survive. And pollution, road accidents. Suppose a frog is crossing a road. Okay, it is crossing from here to there. Meanwhile, a car come and pass it. What happens? Automatically, frog will die. So that is the issue here. Next, coming to the next topic, that is inaugural of Kawano Zambezi Trans Frontier Conservation Area Summit taking place in Zambia. Okay, it was formally established in 2011, encompasses Kawanago and Zambia river basins, where Okavango Delta, Victoria falls under the same area. The inaugural of Kawanago Zambezi Kaza Trans Frontier Conservation Area Summit is taking place in Zambia. So, what is the purpose of the summit? To save Okavango Delta and Victoria Falls, whose are World Heritage Sites and several natural wonders of the world. Zambia is a landlocked country in southern Africa with rugged terrain and abundant wildlife, numerous parks, safari areas. Border with Zimbabwe, it has Victoria Falls, known as Moyasa Lunia, or smoke that thunders, cascades in Ishti, 108 meters into the Nara Patoka Gorge. Okay, if you see in this map, Zambia is a landlocked country. What is a landlocked country means? From all directions, from north, south, east, west, it is surrounded by land only. It do not have an ocean connected to it. So if you see from north there is Congo, left side it is Angola, from downside it is Zimbabwe, from here Malawi, Tanzania, Mozambique, Namibia. All countries are surrounding Zambia, so it is a fully landlocked country. Okay, and coming to the IT and telecommunication. Okay, OpenAI announced release of ChatGPT EDU. ChatGPT EDU software for universities. So what is the purpose of a software for a university? Suppose they want to prepare a notes, study material. Okay. Model papers. So all these things, exams, organization, all these things will happen within a short time. Suppose they prepare the same test series in 1 month. ChatGPT will create this in 1 week. So what happens eventually? Workload on the university will decrease. So here you can see ChatGPT EDU has lot of useful features such as ability to read text, code, do math, analyze data and summarize documents. So study material is very quickly, easily prepared. So it is better than free version because there are security measures. Security is also important. Suppose with ChatGPT EDU, I am preparing a model paper. Exam paper. So by mistake, I am sending to a faculty, but it has gone to a student. What happens? The paper will leak. Paper leak happens, exam cancelled. So security and privacy should be given a first priority while developing these type of softwares for any organization or any university, whatever it is. Privacy and security, data security is major concern. Suppose the data went into a wrong hands. What will happen? Suppose it be gone to the exam paper gone to a agent. What he do? He sell it to all students. So like that university name will come bad. So what are till now what are the universities that adopted this ChatGPT EDU? They are University of Pennsylvania, Arizona State University, okay, and Columbia University Custom GPT to help drug deaths, and Arizona State University. Means number 1 University of Pennsylvania and Arizona State University. Number 2 Columbia University. 3 universities using Language Buddies GPT to make learning a language more fun. Okay, and one more using drug deaths GPT. The goal of ChatGPT EDU is to provide flexible AI tool that could completely change the way school work and how students learn. So, suppose I am making the student learn a lesson by board. He do not understand anything much. But I am using pictures, tablet. I am giving a tablet to the student to interactively learn, and I am showing him YouTube videos. So what happens? Easily he will learn. So ChatGPT EDU is that type of software with pictorial representation, pic representation, and video representation. It explains things to the students, so the learning will be of more fun. And next our topic is DOT plans drone balloon trials for 5G emergency connectivity. Means, see, suppose I am staying in a 5-star building. Okay. Suddenly earthquake comes. Earthquake. So what I will do? I will try to escape from the situation. So generally in emergency conditions, we will leave our mobile there only. We go on fast running to save our lives. But what I will do? I will take my mobile also along with me. So in the mobile, if network is not there, 5G or 4G is not working. So what is the use of taking mobile with you to save your life? So 5G connectivity or 4G connectivity is very important in times of disasters. That is the concept. So this the Department of Telecommunications want to improve this disaster performance of network by use of drones, drones and balloons. What they will do? They will fix the boosters, network boosters in a balloon. They will fix the network boosters in a balloon. Suppose an earthquake is coming in Japan. So immediately from neighboring country like South Korea or North Korea, they will send network connectivity balloons to Japan so that in event of disaster also people will get the network to connect to someone, to share their grief, to take the. So that is the theme of this concept. So normal internet services can get interrupted. Strategy is to meant to fix this problem. So in case of natural disasters, tractor kites, drones, mobile service, okay, shift toward more flexible, quick to respond telecom options in disaster prone areas. Balloons and drone use in telecom. Balloons can use teleco's current spectrum and get their power from solar sources. So how this balloon gets source? From sun. From sun it will solarly it will get a battery. With this battery it will travel more distance taking the boosters. When even in times of disaster, telecom operators should cooperate with each one. Okay, to get the services back and running as soon as possible. Temporary mobile networks need to be set up or broken one need to be settled. Suppose a mobile tower is there, it was destroyed due to earthquake. So immediately the operator should try to fix this or establish one more tower to give the connectivity in this place. Damage to power sources is a common reason why networks go down during disasters. So preventive step, government has to tell telecom companies to keep power backups. So in case of if power is also gone, the network tower won't work. So in that case, power backup should be used. So minimum stock of portable base stations, satellite connectivity, so that services can be restored quickly. More changes to come. People think about the DOT's use of drones. So the Department of Communication encourages the use of drones and balloons in case of disasters. That is a plant. How AI helps in searching a plant. So there is a lonely plant in the world loneliest planet that is extinct in the wild. It used to be there in time of dinosaurs. Okay, it was last seen in Niagara Forest in South Africa. Okay, so we so what happens? The male species is available. Female is not available. So what's happening? How plants reproduce? Generally, one butterfly will be there. Okay, it fell here. It takes the sperms from male plant. It carries to female plant. So what happened? The female will reproduce. But in this case, what happened? The female is not available worldwide. So how a male can reproduce? So automatically the plant is missing. Suppose like in our childhood, our grandfather, grandmother might saw a lion in their fields. But now we are going to zoo to see a lion. That is also rarest of the rare case. In the same way, the plant is missing, going extinct means the next generations can't even see the plant. So the scientists are trying to revive the plant, or some scientists are trying to make a male plant into female plant, because this phenomenon was happened in a cycad species. Okay, in other cycad species, means another tree of same family, the sex shifting happened. So the scientists are planning the same. They want to try to transform male plant into female plant, but it's not happened yet. So finally, they taken help of AI. How they took the help of AI? Let us see now. They are taking drone images, drone pics of entire forest. So what happened with the high resolution camera? That is the tree I am speaking about, Cycad ewoodii, extinct plant. This is the plant in the picture you can see. So what they are doing with the drone, they are taking pics of high resolution of the forest, so that they can observe the plant in a group of plants. Okay, so but less than 2% of the Niagara forest has been studied so far. Still a chance that a female ewoodii could be found. Okay, species to reproduce normally and come back from the brink of extinction. So we are discussing about the properties of the plant. It is a rare type of cycad, two sets of flowers. It is native to South Africa, Niagara Forest in KwaZulu-Natal. It's found in 1985 John Medley Wood. So it's named after him. But what is the problem? Only male species has been found.